Good evening, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Bubba here on Monday evening, August 5th, 2019. Sitting in for Paul Harvey. Stand by for commentary. Well, Americans, if Paul Harvey were alive today, wow. I'm just wondering if he would do a commentary like this. I hope Mr. Paul Harvey Jr. can shed some light on this. But because of the situation in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio, the commentary that I'm doing, and hope Mr. Paul Harvey would have done something similar to this, and I'll call it the Big Grand Canyon. And here it goes. When the first colony was established here in North America by the British in 1607 in Virginia, it was not quite a united colony. It had the manifestations of what the nation would eventually become 300 and some years later. 12 years later. Or 412 years later, pardon me. So here we are 412 years later. And this little disagreement became a pothole. And by the time of the American Revolution, well, people tried to put dirt on it. So they did. They put dirt on it, and eventually it was level with the rest of the earth. You won the American Revolution. But by 1820, the dirt was gone, your sinkhole was getting bigger, so you had to put more dirt in it, and thus you created the Compromise of 1820. Still, that was just dirt. No cement, no nothing. The dirt disappeared by 1850. You tried to do it again, but you didn't have enough dirt to fill it, because it gotten a little bigger, and it caused a chasm. It was almost like the San Andreas Fault. So then, you had the war between the states, or as you call it, the Civil War, or as the Southerners call it, the War of Northern Aggression. So then, you had that big sinkhole. The South lost, and everybody thought that that was the end of that, the hole was closed up permanently this time. Well, the dirt that they put in was actually sand. Bubba can attest to that. And by 1876, well, you had to find heavier dirt to put in there, so you did. And the Democrats and Republicans came out with the Compromise of 1877, which caused the South to be Democratic and very much anti-African American, and the North to be pretty much industrialized, and let's go for the future. Money, here we come. No matter what we invent, we'll get money out of it, and we'll stick it to the people's rear end. And they did that all the way from 1877 to around 1920. And what happened in 1920? Well, you can only build so much, and you can only get people so much. You can only build so many cars, so you had to come up with new ideas to do it, and you did. You came up with a model year every other year, and people had to change cars. And the people that couldn't afford new cars, hey, here's a used car, yoo-hoo! Same with every other appliance. You came up with time pay, or as we call it today, credit. So you put the people in debt. Hey, you didn't care. You were buying and selling. Buying and selling. You were selling on the short. Remember? Something that cost $10, oh, you could get away with $1. Well, in 1929, you paid the price for it. Yeah, big time. So the hole got bigger. Then it took the New Deal. Well, that's what they said, but the deal was not new, and it wasn't a good deal either, because you're still paying for it today. Then you had the Square Deal that came in after that. That didn't help any. Well, then you had the Great Society, remember that? And that ended up in riots. So at the end of 1969, you had a chasm, probably as big as the Snake Canyon at the time. So 1969 to 2019, you didn't have any dirt to cover that chasm, so you tried to use smoke and mirrors to cover it. And that's where we stand today. That little sinkhole back from 1607 has turned into the Grand Canyon. Nothing is going to fill it. Therefore, you got shootings, you got political discourse, you got personal discourse, you got anti-this, racist, racist, and you got white supremacists, and you got all this stuff. And the blacks, you had your time, and you lost. Because everybody else is supplanting you. So we got all these issues. Immigration. Issues of who you are. What is an American? It's not African American. It's not Asian American. You got enclaves. They're trying to bring their own world to here. Didn't work for the Romans, it's not working for you. So where do you go from here, Americans? This is your favorite alien and Bubba, sitting in for Paul Harvey, saying, we reached the end of the line. What to do next? It's up to you. Good day.